So welcome to our Sunday group. Thank you very much for coming. Today is Sunday, and you could have been doing so many things in the Sunday afternoon, but you have chosen to use your valuable time and to come here to listen about Krishna consciousness. And we are very grateful for anyone who comes here to chant with us and to hear about Krishna. Because we think that the goal of human life is self-realization, God realization, and that we need to utilize at least part of our time to practice spiritual life and be attentive to understand actually the ancient philosophy of the Vedas and of the Bhagavad Gita, and to, in this way, to actually utilize human form of life for attaining higher states of consciousness. And the main means for attaining higher states of consciousness is actually through the sound. Anavriti Shabdat, it is stated that Anavriti Shabdat means liberation by sound. In the Vedas it is stated that we attain liberation by sound. You can also attain different states of consciousness by sound also. For example, if somebody insults you, this is a sound, somebody calls you some bad names, and it makes you feel very bad. So sound influences us. Or maybe when you were small, maybe your mother was singing you a lullaby, and you remember it was so beautiful that you fell asleep with the soft sound of your mother's voice, of your mother singing, or sister. How many of you watch horror movies?
Horror movies.
Oh my God. Mein Gott. Try turning off the sound in a horror movie and see that it's not very horror anymore. If there is a sound in the horror movie, it's much more scary than when there is no sound. So this is another, like a simple example of how sound adds a significant dimension to our experience of what we see and what we hear. And we know that sometimes harsh words from a relative or a friend remain with us for life. They hurt us, remain. We cannot forgive, we cannot forget. We always remember, and we ask ourselves, how you could have said that? Something insulting, something very bad. So sound has a great power. And there was a scientific research. Some devotees have done a doctoral dissertation and masters also dissertations on the power of sound and the power of mantras, and also on the power of Maha Mantra. One devotee from Alachua, Florida, Dira Govinda Prabhu, he has done a dissertation on the effects of the Maha Mantra on the general health of people and on the modes that they are influenced by, modes of nature. Modes of nature are energies that are influencing us in this world. And there are three principal energies, ignorance, passion, and goodness. And he has shown by scientific experiments with different scientific groups, he has shown how actually Maha Mantra has an amazing effect on people's physical and mental health and their overall state of being. The Maha Mantra has been glorified also in the scriptures, and we will get back to this later. I have prepared some couple of quotes for you. But I want to tell you also a few stories that are related to chanting and to Maha Mantra. there was a man who was a worshipper of Lord Shiva, and he wanted to get very rich. So he approached Lord Shiva and asked him, can you help me to become rich? And he said, better you go to one sage in the forest who has a touchstone. Touchstone turns iron into gold. If you touch iron with this touchstone, it turns it into gold. So he went to the forest, and the name of this sage was Sanatana Goswami. So when he came to his hut, Sanatana was chanting, and he approached him very respectfully and asked him, can you please help me to become happy by becoming rich in my life? So he said, how can I help you? How can I make you happy? And then, can you please stop talking? So he said, you want to become rich, you want to have a lot of gold, maybe, or something like that. Actually, he said, I heard that you have a touchstone that turns iron into gold, so can I borrow it for some time? And he said, yes, you can borrow it. It's in the back of my house, it's on the pile of garbage. In the back of my house is garbage. You know what is garbage? How do you say garbage in German? Müll. Müll? You can't understand. Okay, this is it. So he was scratching his head. Touchstone on a pile of garbage? That's strange. But anyway, he went back, he found this touchstone, took it, and thanked Sanatana Goswami, bowed down, and went away. And he started turning iron into gold. And he became very rich. He got practically everything he wants, materially speaking. And after many years, he was still not happy. So he remembered how indifferent Sanatan was to this amazing thing, which is a touchstone. And he was thinking, but he looked so happy. And he didn't care about this touchstone that was the goal of my life, to get it. Maybe he knows some other secret. Maybe he knows some other secret. So let me check. Let me go back to him and ask him. And he went back. And Sanatan, of course, he was also always very in a good mood, very jolly. And he said, oh, you have come back, how are you doing? Well, I came back and I brought back your touchstone, and I became rich, but somehow I'm still not happy. I wanted to ask you, what makes you happy? What makes you happy? I mean, you could have so much money, but you're just happy with your simple life. What is the secret of your happiness? And Sanatan said, if you want to know the secret of my happiness, you have to throw away the touchstone in the Ganga, in the holy river Ganga. Oh, that was a very big test. That was because he was very attached to his touchstone, to this touchstone, which helped him to get a lot of gold. But he was thinking, anyway, it didn't bring me happiness, so although I'm attached to it, I'm ready to risk and to throw it away and to see what Sanatan will tell me. So he threw it away in the Ganga, came back and said, I'm ready to hear now, and I have been separated from my dear touchstone. So please, tell me what is the secret of your happiness. And then he initiated him in the chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama. And Sanatana was always chanting. He always had his beats, and he was always chanting and smiling. And then this man became a devotee. So, those who have taste for spiritual life and who have a higher taste, they are not anymore attracted to material things. You have started your spiritual life 1 or 10 years ago, or 50, or 20 years ago, 30 years ago, and maybe you still have some attachment to material things, maybe not. But the more you have a higher taste, the less you will be attracted to material comforts, to material relationships, to material pleasures, and you will be immersed in the nectar of the holy name, of the chanting of the holy name. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is stated, Param Drishta Nivartate. You still have a taste for sense objects, but you are not attracted anymore because you have a higher taste. And the senses and the sense objects, they become like snakes without fangs or without teeth. Snakes without teeth. It cannot bite you, it cannot, because there is no more poison in the teeth. So senses and the mind and the sense objects lose power over you when you have a higher taste. And this is the only way to become detached. Only by the higher taste we can become detached. Like, for example, maybe you have been attached to eating meat, but by regularly eating prasadam, you have become so detached by eating meat. Oh, this was translation system. Okay, very nice. You have been so detached by eating meat, detached from eating meat, that when you pass the kebab shop or something like that, you can't stand it. You just walk past by fast. Or maybe you still have some attraction to this smell, but you know that in the temple there is a Sunday feast after the class or after the kirtan. And you don't need to eat this sinful food. So sometimes you can have the experience in the kirtan or while chanting japa that you are fully satisfied simply by chanting the holy name. And acharyas have these realizations, and we will look at some of the quotes very, very soon. Before this, I wanted to actually tell you another story of a guru and disciple. We know that sometimes some gurus from India or some self-promoted gurus from the West, they sell mantras. You can buy the mantra, but actually mantra should not be sold. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, which is the most powerful mantra in all the Vedic literature, we distribute for free. So once Guru had a disciple, and he initiated him in the chanting of one mantra, and he said, this is a secret mantra. Don't tell to anyone. And he said, so Guru Maharaj, what will be the result of this chanting this mantra? And he said, oh, it will benefit you so much. And then he was thinking, if it's so beneficial, I'm going to distribute it to everyone, even if my guru gets angry. And he went on the street and gave everyone the mantra he got from his guru, and people started chanting. Then his guru started crying. He came back, when he came back to his guru and told him what he has done, his guru started crying and said, "You are better than me. You are more compassionate than me. You have been giving people Maha Mantra because you know it will benefit them." So if anyone tried to sell you a mantra and say, "Oh, this is very special, you know, well, Hare Krishna Maha Mantra you can get for free, but it's cheap." But this mantra, so you can know that this person who is selling you mantra is a cheater. Because God has given mantras for free. All the mantras. There are so many mantras in the Vedic literature. We were singing some mantras now. We always sing Maha Mantra. Okay, so let us look at some wonderful passages from the scriptures about chanting for your inspiration and for your enlightenment, for our enlightenment and our inspiration. Does anybody know where is my beaker, this orange plastic small thing? I don't remember where I put it. I shouldn't lose it. It didn't stay with the guitar. Okay, we'll look later. Rupa, ask Prabhu, would we remember where I put it? No? The plastic little beaker. You haven't seen it. I don't have a pocket. Oh, maybe here.
Oh, no, it's behind you. It's behind you on the chair.
On the chair? There is no chair.
Yeah, no, who took the chair?
Who took the chair away? They should see if there is a beaker. This orange plastic.
Yeah.
If it was on the chair, then it fell off somewhere. So this is from Adi Purana. This is very old scriptures, and Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting this in his Sharanagati book. Yeah.
I think you are sitting on it.
You are a genius. How can you see it through my legs?
Yoga cities.
You are chanting too much. Now you start to see through legs. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is quoting in Sharanagati. Now because we have chanted so enthusiastically, it's getting warmer in the room. I'm not even head. Listen carefully. There is no vow like chanting the holy name. No knowledge superior to it. No meditation which comes anywhere near it, and it gives the highest result. No penance is equal to it, and nothing is as potent or powerful as the holy name. Chanting is the greatest act of piety and the supreme refuge, means shelter. Even the words of the Vedas do not possess sufficient power to describe its magnitude. Chanting is the highest path to liberation, peace, and eternal life. It is the pinnacle of devotion, the heart's joyous proclivity, and attraction at the best form of remembrance of the Supreme Lord. The holy name has appeared solely for the benefit of the living entities as their Lord and Master, their supreme worshipful object, and their spiritual guide and mentor. Whoever continuously chants Lord Krishna's holy name, even in his sleep, can easily realize that the name is a direct manifestation of Krishna himself, in spite of the influences of Kali Yuga. So there are so many points in this short text, and we can look at some of them. Now, how many of you have experienced that you have been chanting during your sleep? Not so many. Or maybe hearing the kirtan during your sleep? Maybe a little more? Yeah. Mm-hmm. This is Brihat Mridanga. Bugit Sibushin.
He's on fire.
Marathon. Congratulations. Yesterday, now if we speak about dreams, you remind me, yesterday I had a dream that I met a number one tennis player in the world, Novak Djokovic, who is from my country, and I was telling him about Bhagavad Gita. I was telling him that Bhagavad Gita is like the Bible, the Quran. He is pious, he is Orthodox Christian, he's always going like this when he wins. And he believes in God, he has a cross on the chain. And explaining that this is a holy scripture. And then some man was in trouble in my dream, and he jumped to help this man. It was very nice. He brought something because he was sitting on the floor and bleeding a little bit from his mouth, and he brought one cardboard and something so he is not on the floor or on the concrete. And then I woke up. But there is a couple of devotees who think that he is a devotee or that he will become a devotee, and I also believe that. And let's see what happens, but I don't know why he appeared in my dream. Actually, one devotee who is a tennis coach, he was supposed to coach him, but when they heard that he is Hare Krishna, this coach, then they refused him. So they got another coach. No knowledge is superior to the holy name. So, holy name, the supreme source of intelligence and knowledge. Therefore, if you're in trouble, if you're confused, if you start chanting, the clouds of confusion may dissolve and you may get some clarity about what is your next step. Try it when you have a confusing situation sometimes, or maybe fearful situation. There are so many ways in which people meditate, but here it is said no meditation can compare to the chanting of the holy name. It gives the highest result. No austerity or penance is equal to it. So chanting is the greatest austerity. You know how hard it is to chant 16 rounds. How many of you think that it's very hard to chant 16 rounds and you are struggling until 12 o'clock in the night to finish your rounds? Okay, I consider that many of you want to raise your hand, but maybe you are a little bit ashamed. Raise your hand publicly. This is also a highest path to liberation, peace and eternal life. So if somebody irritates you, do you sometimes have experience that someone irritates you? You are very peaceful, you don't get irritated. I still get irritated very easily by loud cars and exhaust fumes, and especially by sounds. But if I start chanting, I become more peaceful. So you can try when you get irritated by the influences of Kali Yuga or disturbances of Kali Yuga, that you try taking shelter of the holy name. So taking shelter of the Lord, surrendering to the Lord, can be very simple if you understand that the holy name is not different from the Lord, and you surrender to the holy name. And how do you surrender to the holy name? It's not that you take a poster of Maha Mantra and then follow it. No, you surrender to the holy name by louder.
Chanting.
Louder.
Chanting the holy name.
You're too loud now. By chanting. So it's so hard to chant. Sometimes the tongue doesn't want to say Hare Krishna. You try to chant Hare Krishna, but the sound, it doesn't come out. And then you may think it's easier to chant Shiva, Shiva, or something else, but it's hard to say Krishna. I think for Germans it's not so easy to say Krishna because they say Krishna, isn't it? Why are you laughing? You're from Russia, from Ukraine, but you have been brought up here. So, although it's very simple, because we are conditioned, it's not always easy to chant Krishna. And if you can get some people to say Krishna, they will have great benefit. For example, when we distribute to the homeless, distribute food to the homeless, then we always ask them to say Hare Krishna or to chant Hare Krishna, because we know they will have a great benefit even for one time chanting Hare Krishna. Highest path to liberation, peace, and eternal life. It's a pinnacle of devotion. So it's the highest expression of devotion to chant the holy name. It's a heart's joyous proclivity. Proclivity means inclination. So heart becomes very enlivened when we chant. And it's the best form of remembrance of the Supreme Lord. So now, why the holy name has appeared is explained here. It's explained for the benefit of the living entities as their Lord and Master, their supreme worshipful object, and their spiritual guide and mentor. The holy name can guide you if you chant it, if you take shelter of it. It can give you intelligence. Guidance means you get some intelligence. And mentor, guide and mentor. So this, it is stated, Kalev dosha niderajan hyasti eko mahat gunan kirtana deva krishnasya mukta sangha param rajet. It is said in the Srimad Bhagavatam that Srimad Bhagavatam is a postgraduate study of the Bhagavad Gita. It has 18,000 verses. Bhagavad Gita has 700 verses. So it is said that this age of Kali is Kalev Dosha Nidarajan is an ocean of faults. There are so many imperfect things. So therefore we very easily get into a trap of criticizing. And but there is one good quality, Mahat Guna, means one great quality, is that simply by chanting the holy names of the Lord, Kirtana Deva Krishnasya, the holy names of Krishna, Mukta Sangha Param Rajet, one can attain liberation. One can attain liberation. So in any situation, always chant the holy name. Whether the sun is shining, the rain is falling, or the snow is falling, always chant. Of course, if you are in the cold, it's good to cover your mouth because you may get a sore throat out of the cold if you chant outside. But you can cover your mouth with something, and then you have warm here, a little bit suffocating. But you can chant outside also. So sometimes people say, I don't really feel like chanting. Today I don't feel like chanting. But if you understand the value of the holy name, or if you understand that the holy name is no different from Krishna, then you will chant no matter what. Whether you feel like or not, you will chant as a duty, but you will also chant because you like it. So sometimes Srila Prabhupada would ask his disciples, why are you chanting? And they would say, oh, because it's Krishna's name, it's no different from Krishna, it's a Yuga Dharma, process of self-realization for this age. It's so many things they say. And one devotee said, Srila Prabhupada, I chant because I like it. And Srila Prabhupada really liked that answer. He said, yes. Yes. So he has some taste. Let us read another verse, which is from Padma Purana, but it's cited in Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, Madhya Lila. Nama Chintamani Krishnas Chaitanya Rasa Vigraha Purna Shuddha Nitya Mukto Binatvam Nama Namino. The holy name of Krishna is transcendently blissful. It bestows all spiritual benedictions, for it is Krishna himself, the reservoir of all pleasure. Krishna's name is complete, and it is the form of all transcendental mellows. It is not a material name under any condition, and it is no less powerful than Krishna himself. Since Krishna's name is not contaminated by the material qualities, there is no question of its being involved with Maya, illusion. Krishna's name is always liberated and spiritual. It is never conditioned by the laws of material nature. This is because the name of Krishna and Krishna himself are identical. Nanda Makari Bahuda Vija Sarva Shaktis. It is said that Krishna has invested all his energies in his name. So this is not an ordinary name, but it's full of transcendental and spiritual potency, this holy name. So these are some of the glories of the holy name. And if you feel conditioned by the material modes of nature, by the material energy, by the sufferings of the material world, if you take shelter of the holy name, you will get a great relief. You will get a great relief. Even when I started in the early 80s, when I started chanting, I'm very sensitive to physical pain. So if I have a certain amount of physical pain, I tend to faint. And then once I was bitten by a tick. You know what is tick? Huh? Can you say it loud in German? Insect that goes under the skin. Goes under the skin, and it's hard to take it out. So I was bitten by a tick, and I had to go to a doctor to take it out with a knife. But they didn't give me anesthetic, so I had to bear pain. It was very painful because they go with the knife into your skin. And I was really surprised because at that time I was already chanting for 1 month, and I didn't faint. And the doctor said, "Are you okay? You are a little white in you're white in your face. Are you okay?" I said, "I'm okay. I don't feel like fainting." And then I went back home on a bike, and I didn't fall off the bike. That means my balance was okay. So I think this was because I was chanting, and I could bear more physical pain because of the power of the chanting of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And when I started playing a long play record, now maybe younger people don't know about long play records, but those who are a little bit older, they know that there was records before, like plastic vinyl, and we played on the gramophone, and it gets scratched. So I got a record that sister of my schoolmate got it on the streets of London from some devotee. I think somebody was excited that she's from Serbia, and they gave her the record for free. And he was not listening to it. It was devotee record. Now this record is known as Hare Krishna Festival, and like from Amsterdam, and Hamsaduta Prabhu was chanting. there, very long Mahamantra, I think 40 times, 20 and 20 repetitions, 40 times chanting, and you have a chair there. I would want to go to drink. So, and I was shocked by the power of mantra, not its effect on me, but the effect of my father and brother. And they were not interested in Krishna consciousness. So what happened is that I was playing it, and my brother was just operated something in the stomach, this blind intestine. Yeah. So, for him it was very painful to laugh. For him it was very painful to laugh. But this sound, he said, stop this. It's always the same, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. He started laughing. And my father also came. He said, stop this, we cannot stop laughing. And I was thinking, this is amazing how this sound affects these people who are not even interested in this. I mean, I didn't laugh when I hear Kirtan. So these are some just small examples, but if you are chanting, you can have some amazing realizations. Once one devotee lady came to Prabhupada, she said to Srila Prabhupada, when I'm chanting, I see like a golden bowl in front of me, like a sun or something. And she was thinking that Prabhupada, our teacher, he would be impressed that this is maybe some kind of mystical realization. And he told her, just go on chanting and it will go away. Srila Prabhupada also had a great sense of humor. But I think he was serious. I mean, he's always speaking very seriously, but sometimes devotees, they roll on the floor laughing. Because what he says is very humorous. So, if you meet the guru who tells you, I will give you a mantra, and by chanting this mantra you will become God, you can be sure that this guru is a cheater. And especially don't pay him anything. We love our spiritual master Srila Prabhupada because he told us that we are an illusion. He told us that we are fools. Because why? Not because we are stupid, but because we do self-sabotage. We act against our own self-interest. He didn't think that his disciples are fools in the sense that they are stupid, but they are foolish in the sense that they act against their own self-interest. But nowadays you can meet a guru who is flattering you and you pay him. Guru business is great today. You can, there is many gurus. You just grow your beard and hair and then say a couple of sweet words or maybe a little bit wise, something wise, and you have a lot of followers and they adore you. And you have a comfortable life. And all together with your disciples, you go to not very good place. So I highly recommend that you, Rupa Das Prabhu told me to turn it on this page. I highly recommend that you read inspirational quotes like these two that we read, so that you renew your enthusiasm and inspiration and knowledge about the value of chanting. And I can give you books, e-books, selection of quotes that you can read and you can get inspired. I have them electronically. If you give me your email, I can send it to you. The word Hara is the form of addressing the energy of the Lord, and the words Krishna and Rama are forms for addressing the Lord himself. Both Krishna and Rama mean the supreme pleasure, and Hara is the supreme pleasure energy of the Lord, changed to Hare in the vocative. The supreme pleasure energy of the Lord helps us to reach the Lord. This is from the science of self-realization. If we are searching for real pleasure, we have to take to Krishna consciousness. All happiness in the material world has a beginning and an end, but happiness in Krishna is unlimited and there is no end. In order to get this happiness, we simply have to sacrifice a little time. We simply have to sacrifice a little time and chant Hare Krishna. Anandam Budivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Svadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. By chanting Hare Krishna, our pleasure potency increases more and more. That means our pleasure increases more and more. And I will just read one more or two more. The Puranas say that anyone who chants the holy name, whether with faith or neglect, attracts the mercy of Krishna. Even if you chant by accident. The holy name is the purest form of knowledge. It is the best of all vratas or vows and the highest meditation. It gives the most auspicious fruits. This is a little bit different version on the first verse that we read. It is the greatest renunciation. It gives incomparable peace. It is the most pious of holy works. It is the supreme path of self-realization. It is the greatest liberation and goal. It is the topmost destination. It is the best devotional service. It is the purest inclination. It gives love of Godhead and is the essence of remembrance of the Lord. It is the cause of all causes. The supreme absolute truth, it is the most worshipable object and acts as the supreme spiritual master. 1,000 names of Lord Vishnu is equal to one name of Lord Rama, and 3 names of Lord Rama are equal to one name of Lord Krishna. Thus, the holy name's transcendental nature is ever glorified in the scriptures. This is from Harinath Chintamani of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So thank you very much for listening. Do you have any questions? Yes?
When was that when did you met Novak Djokovic or did you dream him?
I had a dream.
Okay, because I saw him personally in the Belgrade Zoo. I saw him with his child, and when you are now talking about him, I have a feeling that he's a very he's very interested in religion.
Yeah.
So I was at that time I wasn't in Krishna consciousness, but I think that he's very interested in religion.
So if you see him, you can give him some prasadam. And also there was one photo that was circulating on Facebook. He was in one of the big cities where they have a tournament, and in his maybe apartment or a hotel room, I don't know if this was from his, he lives in Monte Carlo, I don't know if this was from there, but in the corridor there is a big picture of Krishna and gopis. In his corridor, where there is a picture, he's playing with his child, and in the back there is a picture of Krishna, and somebody wrote, Novak Djokovic is with Krishna or something. Okay, any other question about some other star? Yeah, you have second question.
Yes. Is there any temple in Serbia? Why don't we have any temple in Serbia? Why is that such a... Even when I search the internet, there is no public meeting points. It's so...
There is.
It is because of the church, because Krishna consciousness is something exotic for them or something unusual. Why it is not public we don't have any snitches now here inside. They will not say anything. Nothing goes out of the room. Why isn't it public meeting called in Serbia?
During the war, these nationalists, they attacked us with weapons. They shoot at devotees in the Sunday feast. And now we have a center called Bhakti Hub, which is just behind the assembly house, political assembly house. So it's in the very center. And Bhakti Hub is advertised as a yoga center for. And every Sunday devotees meet there, but during the week, because they cannot pay the rent, they rent this room, and also there is people during the week, devotees cannot come. So they rent it, and then yoga groups have their classes there. But festivals are there, Sunday programs are there, and there is many nice devotees, and devotees are also still distributing books. Sometimes maybe not so much in Belgrade but maybe a little bit in the northern part, which is a little bit easier. And but they distribute in other places also, distributing books. They have home programs. So there is many nice devotees there. I mean, we used to have concerts with Satchidananda Swami for 5,000 people. We had a Nityananda band. And in the main hall in Belgrade, we had a concert for 5,000 people, Krishna concert. So it's still alive and well. We just don't have an official ISKCON Hare Krishna center there. But we do have a center, but which is a little bit, how you say, underground. Not underground, but I mean, it's a public place. But we don't advertise it as Hare Krishna or ISKCON center. It's called Bhakti Hub. And you can get the address. I think we can get the address. If you go there, you can visit. But we have to call and see because during the week there is yoga groups. But the best is to go on Sunday if you go. You pass there. Okay. Any other question about chanting? Okay, so thank you very much for chanting enthusiastically in the first part of the program and for listening to the class. I wish you all the best. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.